Good evening, all, and welcome to my last one tonight. And yeah, it's 11 o'clock. I'm waiting for Phillip Hatfield, and he should be on in a minute, hopefully, unless he's gone to sleep. Um, yeah, so we'll just wait in now, and won't be long. Yeah, so we're just waiting for him now, and hopefully he'll be on his way. On my way. So don't forget, guys, if you want to leave a message, please put it in the box. And if you're still up, can you ask him to click and come back out again, please? We're just waiting for Philip now, and still waiting, guys. Do, 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 do. 6 minutes. Hello. 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 Can, that's better. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello, Steve.
Oh, that's better.
There we go.
Okay. Well done. Good. Right. Let's start. Hi, guys. Thank you very much for today, especially. Um, in one thing to get to today, and we have got a lot. And thank you for all the people who come on and answer. Thank you so much. Okay, I have got Philip here. Hello, Philip. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Steve?
Okay, yeah, I'm great, thank you. And tell everybody about yourself, Philip.
Well, my name is Phillip Hatfield, and I am from the great state of Texas. Matter of fact, I'm in Dallas, Texas. And as I say, everything's bigger and better in Texas. So we're in
Ah,
Texas, and
right, okay, Dallas in Texas. All right. They had a program called Dallas, didn't they, a while back?
yeah,
And
sure did.
they that didn't last very long.
Well, I think they had about 10 years. They had old J.R. Ewing and several of them guys on there. Yeah, it's been a while back.
Yeah, that was a while back, wasn't it?
Yes,
So,
yes.
what's happening in Texas at the moment then? Anything?
Man, well, it's the first great day of fall. It's cool, it's crisp, it's a beautiful day, and I'll tell you what, it's kind of like spring to me. It's been so hot and humid, so this is kind of like a spring day, just kind of nice and easy to breathe and get out and do things. So, just staying
Okay,
busy and rocking and rolling.
that's it. Good, good, good. Rock and roll. Yeah. And so, what do you tell us more about yourself? What you do and everything?
Well, I'm a professional speaker. I'm a business coach. I had the privilege to meet a guy you probably heard of many years ago by the name of Zig Ziglar. I got to meet Zig back in 1993 and became friends with Zig throughout the years. And long story short, I was a corporate executive for many years and I had a very bad accident back in 2008. And after I had the accident in 2008, I wound up going to work for the Zig Ziglar Corporation as a professional speaker and also business coach and business consultant. So that's what I do.
Brilliant. Well done. Well done. And so, with your coaching, what do you, so if somebody came up to you and said, "Right, I need some coaching," what do you do?
Well, we when you talk about business coaching, you got to start pretty well with the person. A lot of times, people don't want to talk about personal development when they're talking about doing their business. But you know what? Personal development goes along with business. And as you work on a personal program, a personal goal setting program, looking at who you are, where do you want to go, and how do you want to get there? We used to call it the GPS system. But you know what? That's when you're talking about coaching, really sitting down, talking to people, listening to them, see where they are and what their goals are. And a lot of people, Steve, really do not have goals. They're just so busy running a business, they forget to sit back, take a break, do the basics, and come up with a good goals plan.
And how long have you been doing this for, and why did you start this?
Well, I started the business coaching, I'd say back in I'd say 2010 when I started the coaching, working with Ziegler. I was a corporate executive for many years, and as the executive, my job I was overseeing and taking care of several other franchisees for a corporation. So I'd go in and work with those franchisees on how to make their business better. So really, I was doing it. I've been doing this, I'd say, golly, 25 years, but been doing it as a professional out here in the court and outside of the corporate world since 2008.
Right, brilliant, really good, really good. And and when people come up to and ask about coaching, what is the proper way you tell them that they need to do with their business? What way do you what way do you sit down with them and say, right, this is this is what you need to do, and what do you actually do?
Yeah, and with COVID, things changed a lot of the way we do business. Now, then, a lot of business is done where you're coaching and dealing with people either on the telephone or on a call, just like what we're doing right now, where you're not face to face with people. But what I like to do, if you're going into a brick and mortar store or even a store where you have an office, I like to go in and see the business. And one thing I start doing when I go to the business, I start looking 2 miles away from the business, the circumference. I start looking at all the things 2 miles away from that business. But then I zero in. When I get a mile away, I start paying a lot more attention to what's going on in the area. But once I dial all the way into a quarter of a mile around their business, I start looking at everything, all the demographics, the other businesses, start looking at all of that to see if where they are and if they are in the right place for what they're trying to do. Sometimes I worked the last customer I worked with wound up having to actually move his store and move his business. I moved it from a place called Saxe, Texas. Now, I didn't say sexy. I said Saxe, Texas. And he moved it to Frisco. When they moved it to Frisco, their business has quadrupled simply by moving his business.
Mm. And so in your kind of like what you do on a daily basis,
Well, on a
do
daily
you
basis,
get sorry?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Do you get time for family and everything else? Because when you kind of like going around looking at businesses and kind of trying to give them some coaching, sometimes family can get in the
Yes.
way, can it?
Well, it can, but I tell people my greatest blessing is my wife. All of our kids are grown, and we loved having kids, but we love having kids grown and out of the house too. But my wife and I, she works from home. Matter of fact, we work in the same office. Usually, she's sitting at the desk right behind me right now, and she is an IT person, an analyst. So we're at home quite a bit. But there's things we do locally as far as with the local businesses, going out and talking to the people in the local chambers of commerces, just other business associations, and that once you've lived in an area a little while, you get to where you know everybody and everybody begins to know you if you're out there and you're socially active so people can know you. And so we get out and we just talk with people, get to know people, and find out what their needs are. And start with there again, we go to business coaching. Soon after we start with personal coaching.
Yeah, yeah. And but what happens if you're like a business coach and you live in a small town? Because there's plenty of small towns over in United States, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and that's a good question. But when you look at it, I'd say sometimes small towns are a little bit easier because you get to know people a lot better and they get to know who you are. But then again, start looking maybe 5 miles of where your home is in your town. If you're wanting to get into coaching, then go out 10 miles and really work that 10, maybe another town 10 miles away from you. Start having breakfast meetings. Go to some of those breakfast meetings and get to know the people in the area there. Then you may do a lunch meeting in that town in another, maybe a networking group. But try to get involved in those areas of the town. But start two, three, four towns around you, just kind of like a hub and a spoke and a wheel.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And what kind of businesses do you work with?
Pretty well, Steve, and that's what's crazy. All business is business, and sometimes we make business hard. But when you think about it, my father-in-law was a physician, and he was a great doctor, but he didn't go to medical school to learn how to run a business. He went to medical school to be a doctor. And then I have a good friend who's an attorney. And our attorneys, they didn't go to school to be businessmen. They went into law school to be attorneys, like a dentist. They didn't go into business being a dentist. They didn't want to be a business. They wanted to work on dentist on people's teeth. But business is pretty well the same in every business. There's little nuances here and there, but the primary thing, Steve, what we lose focus of is people. Business is about the people. It's about the people you work with. It's about the people you work for, and it's about your customers. It's about your vendors. When you quit taking that personable approach and getting to know people in business, that's when businesses really begin to fail.
Great, great. I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break for a minute and we'll be back in around about just 1 minute, okay? Just hold on there.
Another thing when you're talking about is, Steve, is take a little quiet time first thing in the morning. When you wake up, start your day. A lot of people times people get up and they get up a little bit late. They run out the door. They don't have time for their quiet
I'm back
time,
now.
their meditation, self-reflection. But take a little bit of personable time, spending time with yourself, and making sure you have a good attitude. Zig Ziglar always call that having a checkup from the
So
neck
when you so
up.
when you do your business
It's
when
always
you
better to do
if
that
you
first thing in the
if you're
morning.
running the business from home, how do you run your business from home? Do you run your business from home? Can't hear you. I can't hear you. Hello? I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Yes, I run from home now. Absolutely, yes.
All right, that's better.
But Steve, when you got a home based business, a lot of times we get up in our pajamas. Yes, I do. I run my business from my home. Yes, I do.
Right,
We used to
good,
go to the
good,
office,
good.
and the office driving in would be about an hour. Get ready while you're at your home too. You get up, you get dressed, you get ready to. That's okay if you can work and do that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. When
Right?
you kind of like when you work from home,
Yeah,
because
we work from home, but you got to kind of you get ready physically.
yeah, I know that. But when you kind of like actually work at home, because you got family around you, and everything, does that kind of get really hard? Because if you're running a business from home, doesn't it kind of like disturb what's going, about your business, or is it easier from working at home?
Well, you have to make adjustments. You have to make adjustments for family, and you have to be ready for things that may happen. But you try to set your business up as a business, just like you have an office. You'll work from your office, home office, and you try to have office hours and just regular office decorum. But if there's a family emergency, family absolutely always comes first. But no, just setting those parameters of what you need to do and how you need to operate your business.
Right. Okay. Okay. And when you kind of like and see the trouble is, Susie, a lot of people say, oh, the first thing that you shouldn't do is have a business from home because you know, say you get clients visiting your house, or you get, it's people say it can be dangerous. I did it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I had some of my staff knocking on my door and kind of saying, "Oh, can you lend me this? Can you lend me that? Or help me out here?" And it was never a time for yourself. Do you ever get things like that?
No, I get plenty of self time, but then again, it comes with managing my time, setting my parameters of what I want to do. But working from home is just like running a regular business and just setting up, like we said, those parameters of where you are. And there are interruptions that will happen. But you think about it, Steve, the most successful businesses ever, most all of them were started at home. Think of Steve Jobs.
Yeah, yeah,
His business started in a garage. Think of Dell
yeah,
Computers, started in a garage. You think of Amazon, started in a basement. And I got a friend that started the Constant Contact. They started in the attic of their mother's homes. So when
mhm.
you look at it, most all big business today have started pretty well from home.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can. I really know that, and I started my business from home. But what I'm trying to say is that you know, on the other flip of the coin, people will say like someone said to me just now, Thomas from New York. He said, "Hi Steve, I used to run a business from home, but the trouble is, I found that some of my staff was coming to my house, and it was disturbing me and my family, especially my wife. It was very confusing, and
Yeah,
sometimes I used to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning just to answer some queries. Try to, I can understand, but at the end of the day, if you have a business from home, make sure you
yeah,
keep your address private. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So yeah,
It's just like a business, Steve. And it is a business, so you've got to set it up as a business. But you got
yeah,
to
of
have
course,
office hours, and you've got to have your policies and procedures. Stick to those as best as you possibly can. And yeah, there will be interruptions, but even in an office, I find you have more interruptions working in an office from maybe a co-worker who wants to just come knock on the door or walk in and have coffee. So I find you actually, for me and a lot of people I know, it actually works out better to work at home. They're more productive.
yeah, definitely. Just answering some questions here. Philip here,
Yes.
from Philip says from Toronto. She's saying, "Hi Steve, I run a business, marketing business in Toronto, and I used to run it from home. I found it very challenging, especially when you've got 3 children running around all day and you have clients phoning me or coming to my home. We had to put a stop on it at, at the end of the day because it was our home. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So,
Yeah, it gets tough when you have small children. Yeah, because it's hard to plan around the children. You just have to do the very best that you possibly can. And there again, if people are coming to your home, kind of set a certain time that maybe 2 hours at a time. I
Mm.
have people coming to my home from 2 to 4 in the afternoon or 9 to 10 in the morning, something like that, and try to have someone kind of help take care of your kids. But yeah, when you're a mother, especially a single mother, and working from
Yeah.
home, it is very challenging. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah, totally right for that. Um, Brenda wants to know. She's saying, can you ask Philip, Steve, what does is with his business? Does he find it very challenging while working at home when when there's other things going on with family wise? I think we've already kind of like answered that question anyway.
Yeah.
So also there is Caro, and she's from the UK. Hello, Caro. Thank you very much for joining us. Caro said about what is the benefits from working from home.
Oh man, the drive time, man, it's 30 seconds from the,
Yeah,
from the couch to the office. It don't take long at all. And the cool
yeah,
thing is you save a lot of money on lunch food too.
yeah, that's it. And also,
Yeah,
your own toilet and your own bathroom.
yeah. Well,
Yes,
and here
and
in Dallas, Texas, for me to work, like if I go into the office, it may be an hour to 2 hour drive because traffic can get pretty bad here. So
yeah,
you
yeah,
really have a
take
lot more quality time. There again, you're not wasting time. You're able to do things to actually be more productive in what you're
yeah,
doing. But there again, try to set your office up, set your business up as a business because, like you say, it is a business, and you can't
yeah,
just let a business run you. And that's what happens with a lot of people. They become a slave to their business simply because they've not set up the parameters and not ready to really run a business. So they let the business run them.
yeah, yeah. Fine. Lucinda wants to know. Lucinda, can you kind of like? There's my website just down here. Can you message me on my website about that? I don't answer any questions at the moment when I've got guests on. Um, Steve, would it be possible if I can join your team? Yeah, if you can kind of, we are taking applications. Just come into our website and we take it from there. Wolf wants to know. He's all the way from Canada, and he says, hi. Can you ask Philip um, when he's working in his business? What does his boss think of him working from home?
Yeah. And there again, I work for Zig Ziglar and the Zig Ziglar Corporation. Zig passed away in 2012 and still worked for the Ziglar Corporation all the way up until 2015. At
Was he a
2015,
wrestler? Wasn't he?
do what now?
Was he a wrestler?
Zig Ziglar? No, he was probably one of the most famous speakers in the world. Speakers and trainers and sales coach. Yeah. He was just dynamic. And that's what we did, speaking and training.
Oh, right, because there's a Sigler that he used to be a WWE wrestler.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah,
But then I pulled out after Mr. Ziegler passed away a couple of years later. Then I started my own business back in 2015. So I still work from home, but then I can go to office. But sometimes, Steve, I need to be around people. I've got that personality. In business, we talk about the four different personalities, and I use the DIS, the D, the I, the S, and the C. But we talk about four personalities. Sometimes I need to be around other people. Sometimes
mm,
I need to get in my car, go to a Starbucks, and sit there just to be around other people, put my headphones on, sit there, work on my computer. But just being out around people, that's part of where I get my energy.
yeah,
If
yeah.
I just
That's
stay at
right.
home all the time, it will just flat out beat me up.
Oh no, I know what that's like. Yes, yeah. I don't
But
know
we
how
have
many.
four main personality types. You got to find what works for your personality.
I tell you what, I don't know. I used, I got fed up watching the Waltons all the time, and that you know, good night, Jam Boy. Um, Lucy wants to know, how long have you been in business now for?
Well, I started my business in 2015.
Yeah.
But I've started doing this, like I said, with the Ziegler Corporation in 2008 after I had a bad accident. I was a corporate executive for many years. And I was in the hospital a long time. So I was not able to go back. I had a long rehabilitation period. Matter of fact, I'm a left leg amputee, still disabled. But you know what? You can either make excuses or find a way to make it work. So you got to work around whatever obstacles you have.
Well done, and very good, because that's what we're all about. My channel, we kind of like last July we started, and we started doing this. It's called Crossroads and everything, and people come to a crossroads in their life, and
Yeah.
don't know where to go. And what we do, we try to get people on and try to help them out.
Yeah.
That's what we've been trying to do, and we've got a lot of people now. And Steve, would it be possible if you can tell me how I can kind of join? Guys, the website's down the bottom, and also next month we are filling up quickly if you want to get on. Bruce wants to know. Hi, Steve. I've been into business now for 20 years. I work from home, got my own business. I do sales, and only time I go out is when I want to get what? When I want to get a coffee, or I get it delivered. It's better being at home than in the office because I can switch the telly on anytime I want. Yeah, all right then. Uh,
That's good, but it can also be not so good. But yeah,
no,
and that's the
no,
good thing.
no.
Taking a mental break, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. I, Steve, I take the laptop to the toilet. Oh, do you? When I'm home, and I spend most of the time in there because that's my office. Um, thanks, guys. Thanks. You make me laugh all the time, you lot. Um, Christine wants to know. Um, no, he's already answered that. Um, ooh, who else is it? Tracy wants to know: have you ever written a book?
Yes, matter of fact, I have 3 books. The first one I wrote is about my spiritual journey. My life had a spiritual awakening, and that back in when I was 39 years old. That was my first book. It's called Carried by Angels. And then I wrote a book, which is probably this is probably one of my favorites. It's called Contagious Encouragement. Because Steve, that's what we don't do is we don't encourage other people. So it's how to encourage yourself because you got to encourage yourself first. Because a lot of times there's no one to encourage you, especially if you're
Mm,
running a business from home. So you've got to actually have your checkup from your neck up, as we talked about earlier.
mm,
Adjust your own mental attitude and get ready.
mm,
But we have to encourage ourselves. But what we don't do is encourage other people. We always look at our competition and we look at what's wrong, what's negative, instead of looking at them saying, "Here's what I like about them," because your competition's doing something right. So what is good about them? So as you
mm.
look at the good things about them and you find things, and let me pull this up so I can find my little sticker here real quick. We use the thing as Zig Ziglar had first brought it out years ago, and I kind of changed it a little bit. And it's called "I Like Because." If you can see this, I don't know if you can see the
Oh
lettering
yeah,
on it.
yeah, yeah.
It's called "I Like Because." And so we do this live. I do this in events live, whether I've got 2,000 people or 2 people or 10,000. But it says "I like." So in that line, it's blank. So you say "I like Steve," and you put "because." Then you have the lines you get to write there on the lines. Now you could take something just like this, and you could take and write what I like about Steve. Walk by and put it on his computer, and just tape it to the screen, and then go on his way and never even sign it. And never Steve never knows who wrote that about him. It's kind of like when we were kids, we used to write them little love letters, say, "I like you. Do you like me?" Check yes, check no. Well, when you got that back and you saw the yes, it's like, yeah. But you know what? That's what I like. I like
Yeah.
you, and it's because it's what they like about you and why. And Steve, if I look at you and I got to say what I like about you, I can't think of anything negative, can I? I've got to think of what are the good attributes of Steve that I like. And as I
Mm,
look at those good things, and it changes my perception, it doesn't change you at all, but it changes my perspective.
mm,
But what it does by me voicing to you, it brings you affirmation. It gives you encouragement, gives you hope. You find that people like things about you that you didn't even realize. And it's
mm,
amazing what you'll find out. And there's sometimes you can't say, "Steve, here's what I like about you." You may have a young lady that works for you and she's 20 years old and you may be 40, 45, and you just can't say, "Here's what I like about you," without feeling like you may be crossing the line. But you change that word to "what I like." And I tell people this, and that's what you do, but you can write it down. But you can write, "I love you because," or "I admire you because," or "I respect you because." You can change that
mm,
one word "like" to whatever is beneficial to that person, wherever the need is at the time.
mm. I used to write a lot of love letters to my wife.
Yeah. Why'd you
Okay.
stop?
Why did I stop? I'll tell you why. It's because when I used to go to school with my wife Michelle, and what happened was I left school and I moved on, and she left school and she had children from somewhere else, and I fancied her, but she didn't think very much of me. And what happened was we met. It was so funny. We met at a school reunion, back up at a school reunion,
Yeah.
and we kind of like, well, I fell for her, and I said, "Come on, let's go out." And in the end, she just kind of like won't say nothing, and she said, "I only said yes because you kept on and on and on." And when I was going out with her, if I ever finished with her, because we weren't living together then, I kept on sending her letters. I love you. I miss you. Can we sort this out? Whatever. It was love letters. No, she was getting around about nearly love letters a day through the post. And
Hmm.
in the end, you know what she used to do? Because she had grown up children. You know what she used to do?
What's that?
She said, "You can handle them."
Well,
And she
and
gave,
it's something else that I say, and you think about it, in order to live, we need oxygen, don't we? We
mm,
need the oxygen in the air. We need it in our
mm,
lungs to breathe.
mm,
And where it comes from the oxygen, it's air. And so
mm,
what I like to say is people need air. But in the air and in the oxygen, it's very simple. Use this little acronym. People need appreciation. They
yeah.
need inspiration, and they need recognition. There again, we
Mm,
need to recognize people, tell them what we like about them and why. But you know what? Just to appreciate people, because so many people are not appreciated, especially in today's world. We look at
mm.
the negativity, everybody's still looking at the positivity,
Well,
and
we
we
had
create that world ourselves.
yeah, and I totally agree. We had somebody the other day, a guest of ours on, and she didn't like anything about her.
Hmm.
She felt that she was been abused and stuff like that. And she said, "You know what, Steve? No one likes me,
Ah.
right?"
Hmm.
And I said, "How about if I tell you that I like you? How about if I tell you that I care for you?" And she said to me, she says, "Do you?" She said, "You don't know me, right?" And because I'm a Christian, because I believe, I believe in God and everything.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, God loves you." And then she just stunned at me. She said, "Well, I don't believe in that, but thank you
Yeah.
very much for saying it." Then she said to me, she said, "You know what? I want to belong to something. I want to kind of like belong to someone, but the trouble is, I'm afraid to be belonging." And I said, "All we got to do is reach out." And I said to her, "I tell you what I do." I said, because we're always looking for people on here to do doing something during the week. And I said, "I tell you what I do. I'll give you a regular spot on my radio and my podcast, right?"
Yeah.
And she said, "But you don't know me." I said, "It's not about knowing you, okay? It's not about knowing you, right? You're in front of me. You know, you are worthy. You're worth lots of love
Yeah.
and care." And and she said, "Will you?" I
Yep.
said, "Yeah, yeah." I said,
Yeah, we all know we're fearfully and wonderfully made. And there
"That's
was a
it."
lady that wrote a book many years ago. Her name was Camille Lavingston. And she wrote a book, You've Got 3 Seconds. Steve, our brain is so fast that we have psychologically
Mm,
figured people out in 3 seconds. We don't realize it. How they
mm,
walk in the door, how they carry themselves, their facial
mm,
expressions. If before they even reach out their hand, our brain is so fast, we know within 3 seconds if we like someone or not. But the
mm,
problem is that some type people don't really put on that the authenticity of who they are. They may be having a bad day, and they
mm,
walk in with that bad air about them, and so people get that wrong impression. But you know
mm,
what? For 99% of the time, we know within 3 seconds about who people are. Basically, we don't know all about them, but we know that we're all built
mm,
together. Like we said, they're fearfully and wonderfully made. We're all made in the image of God, so we're all made the same. We have
mm,
four basic personalities, but yet that's what brings us balance. It's just like you and
mm,
your wife. You know, that's what brings about between you and her. I'm sure you're not the same.
But the trouble is, though, when I said that, she said, "Can you add me on Facebook? Can you add me on Facebook?" And I said, "Yeah, okay." Then I could see her type. It said, and she wrote something on Facebook, which was really nice. And she said, for the last in what was it? In the last 6 years, I felt lost, but now I just found love and kind of
Yeah.
I've got a friend at last.
It
You know,
starts with acceptance.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
all about being accepted.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. If I've been accepted for what I've done, in the past, then I'm sure I can forgive people too.
Yeah. You
Not
know,
forgive
a lot
people.
of these campaigns, when politicians are running for campaigns here in America, they'll use the word hope. I got hope. I'm thrilled in hope. But you know what?
Mm,
We forget what hope really is. Hope is having confidence in the future.
yeah,
Now, sometimes you don't have that right away, but by the association, as Jim Rohn always said, you become the sum of the 5 people you hang around the most. Sometimes
mm.
we got to change the people we hang around with.
Oh yeah,
Zig Ziglar
yeah,
talked to me about that many years ago, and I had to change a few things about 30 years ago. Some of the people I was
yeah.
associated with, and some was family. And I
Mm,
love my family, but I had to pull away for a while and let the changes happen for me and happen for them as well.
mm. And what I tell you, what I love to do is I want to get you back sometime and talk to you about your books
Sure.
because I read one of you got one of them on Amazon.
Yeah, I've got 3 books on
But
Amazon.
yeah,
Be the
yeah. So
Transformation. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I started kind of reading one of them, and one of them really got to me. And but fortunately, I ain't got enough time tonight to
Sure.
kind of like. But I would love for you to come back. I'll get my wife to contact you
Absolutely.
to
Yeah,
book
I'd
you
love to.
book you in, so we can talk about your books and that's it. Because I think you know your book needs to be kind of looked at and read because they are very, very inspiring, and it could be kind of like an answer for some people who is listening now
Yeah.
on the
Well,
radio, on our
thank you. And
radio.
I'd love to come back. I'd love to be there. You know, I wanted to put it in my title there where my name is. I wanted to put what I love to be called. But I like to say I'm Phillip Hatfield, PhD. Now, I got kicked out of college, so I don't have a PhD degree. But here's what it is. I have my PhD. I am passionate. I'm hungry and I'm driven. You know what? Am I always that way every day? Absolutely not. Sometimes, like we said, it's a checkup from the neck up, things I have to do to try to make it better. And there's things I look at my life right now. There's a change of what's going on in our society. Our business is changing. But we got to sit back and look at ourselves and we have to try to change ourselves. You know, we go through what's called a spoke. It's like a wheel of life, and there's 7 spokes. We talk about our career as one of those spokes, our person, who we are, our physical, our how we are, our physical body, our family, mental, financial, and spiritual. And that's the spoke I took out for many years, Steve, was that spiritual spoke. Once I fixed that spoke, things really came together in my life.
Hmm. Well, I enjoyed speaking to you, and it's been very, very interesting. And what we'll do, we'll get in contact with you. I think my wife, knowing my wife, she's probably kind of like on the phone to you right now, contacting you a message.
Very
I
good. Yeah, I'd
usually
love to come back.
I'll tell you what, my guests, when they come back, they say, when I say, my wife will be on it now, they say, oh, it's already done, Steve. We've already booked him. So, so that's it. So anyway, thank you, Philip, for everything, for coming on and for your time. And enjoy the rest of your day, what's left of it. I don't know what time it is over there.
Let's see here. It's 5:45 here. What's it? 10:45 for you?
10:45. No, it's quarter to 12 here at night.
Oh, it's 11:45. I was off by an hour. Well, thank you.
Yep.
I love being here. I'd love to come back. You just let me know, Steve. God bless.
Okay. God bless. Bye bye.
Bye bye.